shall I go first this time?
Session 3.
How would racial harmony look like in Singapore?
How would racial harmony look like in Singapore? I've actually thought about this. Racial harmony would be not having to fill in my race on any form. Racial harmony would be not having to look for a different neighborhood to buy a HDB flat because there are too many minorities in this place. Racial harmony would be when the race has been deinstitutionalized from the government, where it just becomes a thing. Okay, we don't even talk about it. How would things be different in Singapore if we do not have race classifications?
Well, to me, I think that is like the best possible scenario ever. Because race to me is arbitrary. So there really isn't anything that defines race that is objective. So it's mainly just, based on your parents' beliefs, based on your own culture, based on what you do and your lifestyle and your traditions and stuff, which are all, created by ourselves and by the society. So if there isn't any race, I would assume, or racial classification in Singapore, then there wouldn't be any differences we can attribute to people seeing others as like a different race. So I don't know, that seems like very utopia to me.
So do you think society would be more homogenized, or do you think they'd be more diversified if there were no Chinese, Malay, Indian, Eurasian / others?
I think if you remove the whole idea of race, we'll still be diversified because you still have your own identity as a human being, and you have so many other factors that can attribute to your own identity. So just removing that idea of race doesn't mean that you all be homogenized, which usually is a bad thing to a lot of other people.
I think so.
Yeah. You still have your own identity. You still be an individual to the society. It's just that we don't see race, which I think will be healthier for the society.
What would we have to change as a society to achieve better racial harmony?
Okay. I think for starts, I wonder whether we could get rid of that CMIO racial classification that we have. So, I mean, if I think of it, I think of like my children being others, and like that is to other them, to tell them that they don't belong in the main racial groups of Singapore is actually quite alienating and would, I think, intrude in their sense of belonging, and I feel sad when I think about that. So that would be a first step. And then I would also be looking at how schools, right from early childhood to primary schools and secondary schools, can be more inclusive for all races. In primary school, in preschool and in kindergartens, there's so much emphasis on bilingual English-Chinese education that most preschools and most kindergartens do not offer Malay or Tamil as a subject. And I find that sad that if a Malay child is not able to go to preschool and learn their native language, they have to learn Chinese. I mean, it's fine if they want to, but to not have that choice makes me feel quite sad. And then in primary school, where in certain primary schools there are no Malay classes or there are no Tamil classes, children will have to travel to a MOE center to learn Malay or to learn Tamil. And I guess I want for them to be included and to feel like they belong to Singapore, that they are not just a minority. What that means also is then, like children from certain races automatically may not want to go to those schools, or their parents choose for them not to go to certain schools because there isn't that language made available for them. And then so many of the elite schools, for instance, will not have enough Malay or Indian children. Yeah. So I guess I want things to be more inclusive for children. Yeah.
How has your opinion on racial harmony changed over the years?
I stopped seeing it as racial harmony and I start seeing it as Singaporean harmony. That's it. It's as simple as that. Can we just get on with being Singaporeans and stop being so hung up about race? That's my answer.
Simple, yes. I completely agree, because what is racial harmony anyway when you don't even understand or begin to try to empathize with other people. It's very fake to me. And I think also because I don't really know what Singaporean harmony would mean, because I don't feel like we have an identity so much yet.
Yeah,
One
because
that
we're
is
still so
close.
hung up on race.
See?
Yeah. So why
Yeah.
don't we just go with what it means to be Singaporean? And then later on, we can have a global perspective rather than this very island mentality. I think we're like, running around this whole bubble, being obsessed with something like race when there's the entire world to look at. So let's just iron out what it means to be Singaporean first and not really concern ourselves so much with this whole race thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.